You'll make this rather snappy, won't you? I have some very heavy thinking to do before 10 o'clock.
All right, good evening. Welcome into Greeny Sports Cards Live, the world's very first multi-stream live broadcast for the hobby industry, of which you are watching us live now, 7 p.m. Eastern, as we do every Tuesday night here across your social media platforms. And you can catch the replay of this show, of course, on the Sports Cards Nonsense Network YouTube page, where this will air following our production here, as we do every Tuesday night. Greeny and I go live with special guest, of which there's no shortage of tonight, some hobby news, and we'll give you the rundown of how this is going to work. If this is the first time you're joining us or seeing this program, we appreciate that. More and more of you are finding this program every week. We had just shy of about 6,000 viewers last Tuesday night, which is pretty incredible. We've been doing this for about 2 years now on the multi-stream, and you can interact with the show, which is a really cool part of that. So if you have a comment, if you have a question for our guest, if you have a question for us, if you have something that you're interested in or want to see, or you have a hobby question, make sure you drop that comment on whatever social media platform you are watching, and we will catch that and integrate you into the show. Here's what's going to happen tonight. We go live for an hour. It's admittedly a long time. The hour goes quick for us, but we understand if you need to jump, if you can't catch it all, if you want to catch some of the segments, here's the rundown of what's going to happen. So we're going to go live with Card Show Live. Greeny's going to talk about a number of card shows coming up, including Broadview Heights, the Philly Show, the Underground Sports Card Show. And we will welcome in Frank DeMott from CardFest Promotions. He has the Augusta Show and the Savannah Show coming up. So we'll talk about that. We're going to talk about the Golden Auction here, record-setting auction that took place recently. We'll check in with Greeny about that. Coming up at about 7:20, we will welcome in Frank. At about 30 past, we will welcome in our resident hobby expert, Joe Wismierski, for hobby news and views. Joe, of course, with Phoenix Card Shop, and he can be seen on Cut the Nonsense every week on the Sports Cards Nonsense Network. And around the 40 mark, we will welcome in Mark Gronick from Mark's Card Shop in Illinois and check in with him and what's going on around the hobby world. So lots to cover tonight. First, we want to thank our sponsor, Collectibles on SI, our presenting sponsor. And of course, if you want to master the world of sports card collecting, Hobby 101 from Collectibles on SI is your go-to resource. Check them out on si.com/collectibles. They'll help you unlock the hobby with confidence, and check them out. Part of the SI family. We really appreciate their support in partnership with the Sports Cards Nonsense Network. So with that, let's go ahead and welcome in the man himself. Of course, that is Steve Greenberg, aka Greeny, the namesake of this show, the namesake of Greeny Sports Cards, a man who wears many hats in the events, in the custom card world, in the media production space. And so with that, we'll go ahead and say good evening, Greeny.
Hey, Jeremy, how are you?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. We made it to another Tuesday. It's hard to believe, Greeny, this is approaching 2 years that we've been doing this about 19 months, 20 months, but we've only
Yeah.
missed one Tuesday in that entire time, and that was during the National Sports Collectors Convention because we were busy with that.
We were ball carding. Right. This is what we do
We were,
best.
we were,
That's- yeah.
we were ball carding at that time.
Yeah.
Greedy, we're gonna check in with we got a couple of things. We got Today I Learned coming up. I got a piece for that to share with that. We want to mention Robert Redford here coming up in a second. You wanted to talk about Golden's record-setting auction. Let's lead off with
I
that.
did. Yeah. Every month, I mean, last week we talked about how much money was made or sold, on online sales in August. And then Golden had their auction, and I believe Saturday night. And man, it it was the who's who of $100,000 card sales. I mean, there was a LeBron card that sold for $700,000 from 2012, a Prism Gold Refractor. There was a Jordan Kobe autograph that sold for almost $500,000. It was like I think 488, and then a Charizard card for 600,000. It was just, and then if you scroll through and you go on their page, you can see $100,000 card, $100,000 card, and these numbers are just getting to the point where they were several years ago, and nobody thought that the numbers could get that high in cards again. And look, here we are with again record-setting numbers. So uh, just terrific for this industry, the amount of money that's being spent.
It is pretty phenomenal. I'm going to audible here and actually go into Today I Learned because it is, speaking of record-setting auctions, we'll see that on the flip side. So Greeny, a segment we introduced a couple weeks ago. Today I Learned. This won't be earth-shattering news that I learned today, but I thought it was really interesting that the president of Upper Deck, Jason Mashera, he shared a LinkedIn post that was pretty insightful regarding the Logo Man card. Speaking of record-setting cards, he gave us a little bit of insight. And today I learned more about the 2007-2008 Upper Deck Exquisite Collection dual Logo Man autographs with Jordan and Bryant. It recently sold for $12.932 million. Kevin O'Leary and his group acquired that, of course. It was a record-setting event in the sports cards world. And Jason at the time was the NBA brand manager. And so he shed some light and some insight on what this was. The card, of course, was a one of one, and it wasn't just a marketing tactic. It truly cannot be replicated. And what made it possible is, at that time, was Upper Deck's relationships with both Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant. Jordan had been with Upper Deck for decades. Bryant was with them until 2009. They worked directly with both athletes, which is why the authentication is ironclad. But here's what Jason wanted to share and what people don't always understand. That putting together a card like that is incredibly complex. It requires not just the good relationships, but timing too. And to make it happen, there were four things that he highlighted. Of course, they needed the game used Logo Man patches from both respective jerseys. They had to coordinate the schedules to get each athlete to sign the card. They needed a design that made sense and honored both players respectfully. And they hand-packed the cards. The Exquisite was hand-packed by Upper Deck employees. And so you had a lot of different parts in that, moving parts in that. At the time, they charged $500 per pack. It was a 5-card pack. It was controversial, but they understood there was a market for collectors, and he has been proven right based on this record-setting 12-point, almost $13 million
Incredible.
sale. So pretty incredible stuff. Again, today I learned a little bit more about how that record-setting card was made, and I wanted to pass that along.
Yeah, absolutely terrific. That I remember when those cards first came out in the boxes. We're like, man, we're not going to spend this kind of money chasing these cards, and yeah, we're whatever, right? How did you know, right? How would you know?
Well, yeah, but to your point, it's kind of all over the place. TCG, NBA, baseball, Babe Ruth jerseys. There's no end in sight.
I mean, Golden had a Batman comic book that hit record numbers. I mean, it's everything collectible, and that's the thing. I think a lot of these things are being purchased as assets, maybe not just collectibles.
Right. So you're going to see people sitting on these and maybe go into a vault and not see them for a while. Green, before we jump into Card Show Live, I did want to mention that Hollywood lost one of its true icons today. Robert Redford passed away at the age of 89. He's a legend of screen, of course, from Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid to All the President's Men. But for us in the sports world and the hobby world, he will always be Roy Hobbs from The Natural. He gave us one of cinema's most endearing heroes. The bat named Wonder Boy. He shattered the lights in the stadium. It was movie magic, and it touched a lot of us from a nostalgia standpoint. Of generations of all ages, and that movie has stuck with me and us. And quite simply, Roy Hobbs said, "God, I love baseball," and that's why we do this. So farewell to Robert Redford, who really made us believe the impossible, and his legend will live on.
It's one of the most iconic scenes in movie history, not even sports history, but movie history, Jeremy, when he hit the lights at the end.
Yeah, a little sidebar note to that, Greeny, with a Cleveland connection. Joe Charbonneau actually was in that movie. He was on the minor league team that was portraying the Knights at that time. Of course, Charbonneau, one of the Rookie of the Year for the Indians, and then quickly faded out. But he had a quick cameo in that movie. But let's move on to more timely, happier news, and that, of course, is the upcoming card shows as part of our Card Show Live segment.
Yeah, welcome into Card Show Live, where we're going to preview some shows around the country. Starting with ours, the Broadview Heights show that's going to happen this Saturday, September 20th, at the Woodside Event Center. We have 100 tables sold out, Jeremy, of this. This is more of a sports theme. There will be probably 75% sports at this. And then we do have some terrific Pokemon TCG, highlighted with Alex, our Call Your Shot, Alex Shot, Outlaw Collectibles, Possum Finds, and Mellow Fellow merch will be there. But then the amount of sports cards that are going to be there, and we have BE Collects, and we have Dave, and we have Coach Jack coming, and there'll be so many other new vendors that we haven't had in a while. So we have 100 tables there, and what's really cool, our friends at LPV Productions, they're going to bring some of their podcasts, and they're going to broadcast live. So Voice of the Land with Kevin Arnold, that'll be broadcast live, I think at 9 a.m. I think they're going to start that on Saturday. And then Anthony's going to do the Side Hustle podcast, which is wrestling based. So I think Alex is going to join that podcast a little bit and talk wrestling. So stuff for you to watch, stuff, when you're walking through the tables, you'll be able to stop at the podcast and watch, and maybe even be a guest, who knows. But so this Saturday, the Broadview Heights show, greenysportscards.com, you can check out all the information there. If you're not in this area, you may be in Philadelphia, where a lot of the country is going to be this week. The Phillies show, which is it probably, I don't know what the oldest card show in the country is, but the Phillies show has been around a long time, since the days of Bob Schmier running the show at Valley Forge and at Reading, and now in its location, the Greater Philly Expo Center, and Paul Kutch, handling the show there now. 500 tables, an autograph lineup like you've never seen in Philadelphia. And if you've ever heard about Philly fans, you should just go watch them get these autographs at this show. So if you're in that area or proximity, we know our friend Mike Milburn, Vintage Cardboards Collectibles. He'll be set up there. I'm sure our friend Johnny Ryan will be there, and loads of others. So the Philly show is happening this week. We know that the show, the Sports Wax Promotions, is happening down in Concord, North Carolina. Wanted to bring something new to Card Show Live and kind of highlight like a smaller show around the country, Jeremy. So one of the shows, and I was researching a lot of them, is the Underground Sports Card Show in Jeanerette, Louisiana. 40 tables. I reached out to Dan Oliver, I'm sorry, about his show, and he sent us some information that this show's been going on for a while, but it's 40 tables. It's $30 to get in. They have the Cajun Breakers and Collectibles that are there taking PSA submissions, probably doing some breaks there. And I can tell you, Jeremy, if I was in that area, I would go. This is in the Mon Ami Club, and they actually are gonna they cook food right there. So real Southern soul food at a card show. Almost makes me want to go to that one there if I was anywhere near Louisiana. But maybe one day we will hit that. I can just imagine that the gumbo and the jambalaya. And listen, Jeremy, you wouldn't know this, but there's an insert set called Jambalaya that they made several years ago, and there's a LeBron card, which is very expensive. And
people eat that stuff up.
Yeah, they eat that stuff up. So, Jeanerette, Louisiana, the Underground Card Show. Check it out. I mean, 40 tables. I mean, who knows? Some of the greatest finds that I have ever had have been at small shows. So, don't dismiss the small shows. There could be some powerful stuff there. There can be some really cool stuff there. So
you just never know, Greeny.
You don't.
One thing we do know about is sports card auctions, and we know if you are looking to turn your sports card collection into serious cash, let sports card auctions do it. They make it simple with professional authentication, grading, and auction services. You just ship your cards in sports card auctions. Their expert team handles everything. Greeny, you use them consistently all the time. What do we need to know about Dave and his team?
Simple. That's really it. You ship your cards to them. They scan them in. They get them listed. And what's great with a consignor is you get a better rate sending your cards to them than you can yourself on eBay. And that's because of all the bulk that they do and the massive amounts of stuff. So sending them, they get them up, they get them sold, and the money gets deposited ACH right into your checking account. And you can follow along on the website. You can watch your auctions just like you're watching your own eBay auctions. So yep, Dave over there at sportscardauctions.com. They do a terrific job, and we can't recommend them enough.
Very cool. And they'll handle vintage, they'll handle modern, they can maximize
whatever you want to send.
Return,
yep.
Competitive consignment rates, and professional service. So start consigning today at sportcardauctions.com, where your cards get the spotlight they deserve. Thanks to Dave and Sport Card Auctions.
Yep. And now hopefully we can make little technology work with our guest Frank DeMott from CardFest Promotions, and they have a couple shows coming up, Jeremy. There's one in Augusta, South Carolina, not to be confused with Georgia, but Augusta, South Carolina. But then they'll have one in Savannah, Georgia. So let's see if we can bring Frank in. Let's see if we can get him connected, and we can go a little bit over about what his shows and what's going on down there. Frank, you got us?
Hey, how y'all doing?
There we go. We got technology working. Yeah, fantastic. Glad you can join us and give us a little bit of insight on your shows. We know you got two coming up in Augusta, South Carolina, and one in Savannah, Georgia. So tell us a little bit about those.
Yeah, first off, thank you guys for having me on the show. Just very, very excited about the opportunity. I've known about you for quite a while. I actually literally have a 4-row box with a Greeny sports card stamp on it in my office right now.
Fantastic. Well, hey, that is the best branding ever. So if you sell cards, get yourself a stamp.
Yeah, that's smart. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
So we got on Saturday, September 27th, we have a 100-table show going on in North Augusta, which is right on the South Carolina-Georgia border. We're at the beautiful Riverview Activities Center. It's like so we're using one of the 6 gyms they have there. They do. They're best known for their Peach Jam high school basketball tournament, which is one of the best best known high school basketball tournaments in the country. Like LeBron's been there, Bronny's been there, Cooper Flag, Durant, Carmelo. So many legends have played at this facility.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. I thought it was kind of cool. And what we've been doing the shows across the border on the Georgia side in Augusta. I live on the South Carolina side in Aiken, so for me it's kind of cool. It's a little closer to where I exactly live too. And some casual guys have been like, "Hey, try to bring it a little more out here." And I'm like, "Hey, well, we're a little closer this time for y'all." So yeah, that's what we do. Kind of one of our really big things is just, for me, it's trying to get giveaways in the hands of kids. I mean, you can see on the flyer there. I think we kind of know, like a lot of shows, it's standard. If it's an admission show, 12 and under free. We went ahead and did 17 and under free. Just try to do something a little different. And so that's what we got going on. I'd say right now we're about 65% sports, 35% TCG. I've been a lifelong sports collector myself. So that's my background. But I mean, I think we all know, we've seen how much Pokemon and TCGs come into the card show space in the last year or two.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And that's kind of the same up here. We actually started our own just TCG Pokemon only show because of the demand of it. But great to see that the sports is down there. You have 100 tables. Is it sold out?
Not sold out yet, but we will be. I think when I looked at the sheet, we're a little less than 20 tables left. So yeah, we will sell out. So yeah.
Where could people reach you if they want a table? How can they get a hold of you?
They can reach out to us on Facebook, Instagram, CardFest Promotions. And then on our flyer, I always put my number on there just to try to make myself more accessible as well. So yeah, I'm always available by phone as well.
Frank, my family and I had an opportunity a couple months ago to head down to Savannah. It was my first time I'd ever been there. It's a remarkable area. You can feel the history. There's a lot of nostalgia there. What is it about both those areas, Savannah and Augusta, that make it a hotbed for collecting? And why did you settle on those areas aside from proximity? What is the general vibe there?
This is gonna be a little different answer on why we decided on both locations. So I used to live in Ohio, in the Dayton area, a long time ago, about 10, 15 years ago. And a pastor of a church I went to they were opening churches in very small communities. And I remember I was kind of puzzled. I was like, well, there's like barely anyone in these small towns. And he's like, I want to serve underserved communities. And, when I moved to Augusta a few years ago, really not much going on here, card show wise. And then same with Savannah. So I just felt like there's a need, there's a need for collectors. Instead of having to drive 2 hours from Augusta to Atlanta, 4 hours from Savannah to Atlanta, or having to drive all the way to Charlotte, or having to drive south to Jacksonville. So I just felt like there was a need. That was really it.
Yeah, I was going to say, so you've been doing it a little bit. What are one of the things when you have the show, you just look back and you're like, man, this is really cool. Like what do you notice that happening in that room?
I think it's just how people come together. I know for me, I've made friendships with people I would have, if it wasn't for the card show, we probably never hang out, talk, associate in any other aspect of life. And particularly here in Augusta, notice this in Augusta a lot, is like a guy who was a vendor. He told me, I saw people I've known for 30 years and I had no idea they collected sports cards. And that was kind of shocking to me. And it's just kind of interesting how collecting truly can bring people together.
Yeah, and to your point, in an area that didn't really have shows, how would they know that each other do that, other than a show providing that avenue?
Right, and I think it was and before a couple years ago, there wasn't even a dedicated sports card shop in this area. There's some very good TCG shops that have been here a long time, but until a couple years ago, there wasn't even a dedicated sports card shop. So it's so that's Augusta. And Savannah, it kind of been on my mind for a little bit, but living 2 hours away was okay. How are we gonna do this? And then a couple vendors were coming up from Savannah, just for like, hey, what do you think about bringing a show here? I'm like, all right, let's give it a try and see how it works. And the community in Savannah is just some of the most friendly people you will ever meet in your life. It's blown me away, the generosity. We announced we did our first show there in June, and for one of the first messages, get a message from a professional photographer. Hey, can I come take pictures? Just kindness of their heart. I'm just like, well, what do you want? It's just amazing. Just amazing. So
they're happy you're there. So you've had a couple of iterations of Savannah's. This will be the second. This will be the third in Augusta. What have you learned through that? What have you learned in producing these shows that can help you take it into a long-term vision of where you want these shows to be?
I think it's learning. I still got a ton of learning to do on this, to just be honest. I can't sit here and say, oh, I've got it figured out, because I definitely don't. I was a vendor for years, and I was actually watching your guys' interview with James from Sports Wax, who's a good friend of mine. And it was interesting. You talked about the Nutter Center. That was the first show I ever set up when Dan Corley ran it back in 2009. So I was on the vendor side for so long, and I love being a vendor too at shows. So it's been more of an adjustment than I anticipated. I thought, oh gosh, promoters got it easy. There's no pressure.
Throw some tables.
Right. It's much more than that. So I think it's checking on everybody as much as you can, more than just walking by one time to your vendors. Trying to get to know them more, trying to get to know more of what their needs are. Because for example, me as a vendor, I don't have a setup behind me. So that's been something on this side. I have to think about the vendors who have a shelf behind them, or a rack, or if it's memorabilia, if it's wax. Something I was just straight cards in my display cases and value boxes. So that's an example. I'm learning to adjust. Hey, how much room people need behind them? Certain people are going to need a wall table. So that stuff like that is a lot to learn. And I think our first show in Savannah was more people than I anticipated. So it's like, okay, how do we make it so people aren't having to wait in line and get in to experience the show when it's not a frustrating long wait? So there's been a lot of little things like that, and just trying to make it the best experience for everybody possible.
Yeah, that's what we all strive to do, and people don't realize it. You don't just throw tables up, and you can't just post a flyer on Facebook and hope it works. There's a lot of nuances, and we're still constantly learning. And quite frankly, part of these segments, we take away things from you guys, and we can try to implement them in our shows. It's really a never-ending process, and I can speak for Jeremy. We really enjoy doing it. We enjoy talking to you guys and what the different shows are around the country, and it hopefully brings, somebody could be watching this in Idaho who's traveling to Savannah, because as the shirt that you're wearing, apparently they have a baseball team down there now that people want to go watch, right?
Yeah. And it's funny because, like I said, James is one of my good friends. He got me into listening to Jesse from the Savannah Bananas, and he said something that I kind of worked on a little bit. The last show was, I think he was saying when he started off with the Savannah Bananas, he would try to go and see what the experience was like from everyone's point of view. So it's like the last show we just did here in Augusta, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go hang out in the parking lot for 5 minutes. What does that look like? And it was kind of interesting seeing, like, how long does someone stay at our show? it was interesting seeing kind of what customers who were kind of coming and going were carrying. It was interesting looking at it from a different angle for me.
Well, Frank, as you shared, a lot more goes into these shows than people even realize. And if they don't notice things, you're doing the right thing. Give us, before we let you go, give us the dates again of both your shows, and we wish you the best of luck with those.
Yes. So September 27th in North Augusta, and Saturday, October 18th in Savannah. And yeah, I hope you guys can make a trip down here sometime. Would love to meet you guys in person, and love for you guys to check out these shows as we keep doing them.
We have a bucket list of shows, and one I think 1 year we're just going to shut all our shows down and just travel and go to everybody's show. And I think we'll
That'd
have
be
a lot of
fun.
fun doing that. We'll have a lot of fun doing that. So Frank, listen, we appreciate it, and hope the show is a terrific success.
Thank you guys for everything. It's been fun. I appreciate it.
Cool. Talk to you soon.
Yeah, keep in touch, Frank.
Likewise. Thank you guys.
Yeah, Green. I loved Savannah. I would go back there in a second. So, yeah. Well, we're gonna keep it moving. We got a lot to cover tonight. Of course, coming up, we're gonna talk to Mike from Mike's Card Shop coming up at about 7:40-ish. But in the meantime, it is time for Hobby News with our resident hobby expert, Joe Wismirski of Phoenix Card Shop. And we will say good evening to Joe all the way from not quite the West Coast, but certainly out there in the desert.
Eventually, it might be some part of the West Coast. I mean, we might have.
Yeah, when that earthquake hits, you're going to be you got beachfront property.
Oh yeah, and Greeny, just driving from Idaho. Jerry actually just called me and he wanted me to say hi to you. He just made it back from Idaho. He's back home.
Boise,
so.
I know he's a huge Boise fan. I know.
Struggling right now after that first opening loss to South Florida. And kind of a cool thing to talk about too is James Moreau, our buddy. He just picked up. He's a huge Corbin Carroll collector.
Huge.
He finally got one of those Topps Chrome, the Japanese artist, the Murakami. Corbin number 3. Like just a huge card. It just has these like almost anime flowers all around the card. It's a beautiful card. Only make them they're number 3, and he's a huge Corbin Carroll collector. So that's really big. That is primarily our baseball talk for the week here, Steve. The big products that are coming out, Panini 1-in-1 that releases tomorrow, the 17th. This is there's 2 cards in the box. So typically
that's the 1-in-1.
That is correct. So typically one is going to be a numbered card. It's usually 99 or less, and then there is an auto. So typically, more than likely, it's a patch auto or an auto. If you get the patch autos, you're looking for rookies. But again, we're kind of in that gray area of which rookies have signed with Panini. We know by now, but we're tying that bow on 24-25 season. As you can see, the other big case hits, you have the downtowns, which are super, super sought after. You also have the color blasts that people are looking for. You know, we're living in a world where this drives essentially the cards here. Timeless moments.
I want to talk of those. Those are the cards. You can have your color blasts and your downtowns. The timeless moments are the best cards on the market.
Yes, Steve, they are. If
For
you
me.
get the right auto on there, you need the right player, and Panini has access to the right players for this. So you're looking really for those Steph Currys, right? That's huge in there. Magic Johnson. That's a great. This is another. I believe this is a take on the by the numbers set that they have within Impeccable. So this is great, but to be able to get Hall of Famers like that, fantastic.
Can you imagine if there was I'm a Cavs fan. If there was a timeless moments, the block signed by LeBron on Andre Iguodala.
Sure. I mean, not to break your heart, but I think you'd want to see the one with Jordan making the shot over Elo.
Why would I want to see that? Why would I want to see that?
Yeah, but that is a timeless moment, right? Like, how many times have you seen that?
Yeah, no, it is. It is. With all reality, that would be a really cool autograph card. It would.
It'd be unreal. It'd be unreal.
It would.
And that's what's nice with this, but it is, Steve, it's a high risk, high reward. When you only get 2 chances to hit something big, I mean, you could be in it for that case hit. And in the past, this has been a product that I believe it's anywhere from like 16 to 20 boxes in a case. So products like this have teased ultimately coming out about $400 and have gone up in the past in $700 and $800 range. So it all depends ultimately the chases, but it looks like they're loading up this year by having 2 different case hit chases as far as the downtown and the color blast, but then also offering logo men in this with that timeless moments could be absolutely huge for them. And this is again the last big push, because in about 3 weeks, Fanatics takes over the basketball license.
There we go. It's about time.
Yeah. So the next big product that comes out this week, again, we're talking downtowns, that kind of stuff, is Donruss football. Donruss football. This is the 2025 draft class. Great product every year. This is a paper product. This is not the optic. You still have the opportunity for the downtowns, but you're going to get an opportunity to get those new rookies in their pro uniform. So in the past, Panini's kind of ramped up the amount of cards and releases that have had them kind of, with the pro logo on the bottom, but it showed them in their collegiate uniforms. This is a product where you should see them all in that pro uniform. We're looking for the Cam Scataboos. We're looking for, maybe not an auto of Cam Ward, but a Cam Ward card. Looking for Shedeur Sanders, Dylan Gabriel. Those are the Marvels and the downtowns.
Do we have the checklist? Do we know who's in the downtowns?
I'm sure it's published there on Beckett's site. That's scrolling through right now. But you're looking for, JJ McCarthy, obviously. That's great.
Not after Monday. Or Sunday, whatever.
2 to 4 weeks. So, but he's a young quarterback, right? So
I'm going to tell you what. I saw a stat. His quarterback rating was 37, whatever it was. They said if he would have just spiked the ball all game long, he would have had a higher quarterback percentage.
Listen, I'm trying to be cordial, Steve. I really am.
It's a Michigan thing. Yeah.
I told you so. I told you so to everyone.
Yeah.
The national championship, handing the ball off to 2 people.
That's right.
And he didn't play his rookie year there. I told you so. Like that.
I'm on your side. I am on your side.
It's crazy. I mean, the amount of people that are like all in on him. I get it for the hobby, but as a
I don't. That's the thing is I don't get it. Why are people spending all this money on quarterbacks that have never played in the game? Right? Why?
They do it every year, Steve, and so it's good.
I understand.
Good for the hobby. Good for profit.
Sure,
but
it's not good for their wallets.
He's not. He is not the guy. And the fact is, too, not to tease another show, but we are talking about this on Cut the Nonsense that
Please.
Penix sells for almost a third of the cost of JJ McCarthy, and he's got more games, a better passer rating, but not by much, but still. And those were the 2 guys that also were head to head in the national championship game when he was at Washington. So kind of interesting. I mean, Donruss again is going to be a product that loads you up with tons of cards, a lot of different subsets, rated rookies. It is a paper product though, but it always drives demand because of the card that you see right there with the Lamar, the downtowns, and the ability to get numbered downtowns. Last year, they did a great job with doing duels. Some of the duels were odd, but it was nice because you could get 2 rookies like Rome Odunze and Caleb Williams. But again, this is a paper product, right? Eventually, the chrome is going to be what everyone's looking for. And then, Steve, the last product that really hits the mark this week is going to be Stature Hockey. Now, Stature Hockey is an upper mid-tier brand that they do offer. They are a beautiful chrome card, lots of numbered stuff, lots of rookies, awesome patches. But we are looking again for Macklin Celebrini. He is going to be the all-world superstar for the San Jose Sharks moving forward. And this is going to be the guy that if you pull his auto, you are going to be very, very pleased that you've invested in Stature Hockey.
Fantastic. Fantastic. On card or sticker? I can't tell.
They should be on card. This is
Great.
the level. They also have, the card art is gorgeous. So the different inserts that they do offer in this product are fantastic. And the majority, you should be getting quite a few numbered cards in your Stature box.
Upper Deck puts out a good product, Joe.
They really do. They really do. It's been a little bit behind, and so it's nice that they're ramping it up. But I'm telling everyone out there, here's a little tasty tidbit for the Greeny Sports Cards Live people. Hockey sells. I promise you it sells, but it's a time and a place, and we're getting ready for the start of the hockey season towards, we're going to start preseason about the beginning of October, and then it's going to ramp up. For those Canadian followers and fans out there, I know you guys love it. And there is a niche group of U.S. hockey fans. But the start of the season for hockey is enormous because everyone's 0-0 and 0. And everyone has a chance to make the playoffs to go for the cup. So if you invest in stuff like that, in my opinion, hockey is great, but you got to get at the beginning.
I love selling hockey cards. I do. The great thing about selling hockey cards is I just ship them down there to Phoenix to Brian Wells and ship my cards.
Yeah,
we'll get him on one day.
Well, and hey, you know what, Jeremy? Also, real quick, I know Jeremy is playing the music right now to pull me off.
Watch the clock.
But Jeremy, in what I learned this week, and please, fans, chime in and make a comment. But I didn't know that there were two Gretzky rookies. There's a Topps and an O-Pee-Chee, and Steve had to educate me on that. And the fact that Topps owned O-Pee-Chee at one point. The more you know.
The more you know.
The more you know. Today I learned.
Yeah.
Joe,
all right,
thanks.
Joe, we appreciate
Great
you.
Stuff.
We'll see you again next week.
You guys, thank you.
We'll see you Wednesday night on Cut the Nonsense at 8 o'clock on the Sports Cards Nonsense Network.
At 59th and Thunderbird at Phoenix Sports Cards. So I appreciate you guys.
You got it. See you then.
There you go. Hey, Greeny, it wouldn't be a show without me. I'm good for at least one unforced error per show, and we want to make sure that we welcome in Mark from Mark's Card Shop, which is located in Downers Grove, Illinois. Since he opened in June of 21, Mark has transformed his childhood's passion for collecting into a thriving retail hub for sports cards, Pokemon, and memorabilia. His shop blends nostalgia with modern collecting trends, offering everything from dollar box gems to high-end wax. And he's got ties to Panini and Beckett for products. So Mark's Card Shop is quickly becoming a go-to destination for collectors across Chicagoland and beyond. And with that, we want to welcome in Mark from Mark's Card Shop.
How we doing, guys? Appreciate the intro.
Yeah, terrific. Glad you can join us. It's so interesting how these algorithms work and who knows who. And it has to be because I know Ryan Curtis that your videos came up and I saw you chug, I think, lemon juice or lime juice.
Yeah.
I'm like, I gotta watch these videos. I said, this guy's coming on our show.
That was fun. One day I was just sitting there like, man, what am I doing today? And then I was like, this ought to be funny. And sometimes that's how it comes to you, right? You're just having fun, thinking, hey, if I make one person laugh today, then that's great. Maybe one more person finds out about my shop. So I appreciate you mentioning that video. That was and Sasquatch Ryan Curtis is awesome, I must say. A good friend of mine. Absolutely.
Yeah, he's terrific. We've had him on the show. We've seen him at shows, and yeah, him and his kids are great. We love seeing them. So take us back. Like, how did you get started in the hobby? When did you start? What was like the signature moment for you?
it's hard to keep it. I'll try to give my, 1-minute elevator pitch. But basically, I started as a kid in the 90s in the neighborhood, going to this place called Unicorn Comics with my dad, buying cards, get like one card, one pack at the end. The place was quiet. It's nothing like my shop or other great shops. And, but it's great. It's a great memory of mine. And I'd go, trade in the neighborhood. I'd bring the Beckett everywhere with me. And then like most people, I faded out and got into more sports and other things. And I didn't get back in the hobby till 2018. I bought a Donruss basketball retail pack, pulled a Luka rated rookie. And at the time it wasn't like going crazy. I think it was like a year later too. I looked up the price again. It was $100. And I was like, whoa. And I just, it took over. My friends were getting into it again. And we were, buying a lot of boxes and packs and just having a lot of fun with it. But they stopped. They kept their jobs. I decided I'm going to open up a card shop in 2021, which was a lifelong dream to own a business, and particularly one I could marry a passion to. I'm obsessed with sports, fantasy sports, and cards. And those are the three things I enjoy doing with my time outside of my beautiful family, of course. So,
Mark, your videos are a lot of fun. You obviously seek to entertain. What is the vibe of the shop itself? When somebody walks in for the first time, what is that community you're trying to create?
The first thing when people pop in the shop, it's, hey, how you doing? You're just setting the tone right away. Like cheers with no alcohol. And it's different for everybody. Some people want to go in and they just want to go through the bargain bins and just kind of listen to the vibe and the chatter in the shop. Others want to be engaged. Some want to see me, open a pack with them. I mean, it really depends, but I want people to watch the video and say, okay, from the top down, this is the guy who runs the shop. All right, he's fun. He's reasonable. This seems like a fun place to be. But then when they come in, they see the community, they see the engagement at the shop in person. And then they see, our other employees are, all very similar and love cards as much as I do, but all kind of bring something else to the table as well. So just feeling comfortable, not conforming to the standards we set, but figuring out what they like and then trying to lean in with that as much as I can. And I've been known for, there's 25 people in the shop and I'm explaining to one person who had a question about comping cards sitting there for 20 minutes. And people will literally have to be like, hey, let's go, man. You have other people here. And I can't help it. I want them to understand why we love this so much.
Yeah, that's really one of the big niche things is teaching people, right? And I've watched your videos and they're terrific. And I see that you probably do a lot of that teaching moments in your shop. Just like you said, the comping cards. Do people come in, ask a lot of questions? I know, you're spending a lot of time doing that. Is that something that we should start doing in shops is more teaching?
Absolutely. When I first got back in the hobby, I was, spending a good amount of money at hobby shops, checking out all sorts of shops in the area, out of state, and one thing I thought was like, man, it feels like there's a club that I haven't been invited to. And I'll go into a shop and some are very accommodating and very nice. And others are kind of like, hey, you know what to do, so do it, kind of thing. And it's like, so for me, that was like the low hanging fruit, was like not only being super friendly and just inviting, but also we put new collectors welcome right on the glass. So that's the first thing they see walking past our store is like new collectors welcome. So I'm certain, we get a large percentage of the collectors coming back into the space. They usually find us first and, might have seen a review where it says, hey, they're willing to talk with you, willing to teach you, willing to, let you in on all of the secrets that we know. And I certainly don't know them all. So I'm not like the biggest expert in the hobby by any means, but I'm more than willing to help people and I'm more than willing to give my time. And I just think that's important, whether it's a shop or a show or anybody. There's other people on the outskirts wondering like what's going on, what's with all the excitement. And it's like, we can open the doors for them. And a lot of people have been, receptive to that and given me good feedback. And, and one other positive benefit is, with all the kids who come in the shop, I've had like parents stop me at the grocery store and just thank me for, hey, my kid wouldn't even look into anyone's eyes and shake their hand or talk to people. And they started going to your shop a month ago and it's like, they won't stop talking now. It's just like, I just love any feedback I get like that. It really just is gas to my fire. I enjoy the talking to people in the community and just, learning from them, but also sharing any knowledge I might have from this hobby.
Do
You're
you
going
have a
on
moment?
a 5-year run now, Mark, in business, which is kudos to that. You know, most
Thank
businesses
you.
struggle to go about beyond a year or two. So you're at your 5-year run. Looking back, you just shared, you know, how special that is for teaching kids and kind of getting them to open up. Was there a signature moment with a customer or two, kind of early on and even since, where you thought, man, this is awesome. This is why I did it. Something that happened within the shop that was kind of a signature moment for you?
There's been countless moments in the shop, whether it's like just a big poll, which happens everywhere, or just moments people share with me. I don't know, one coming to mind, again, maybe this is a little too deep, but like one of the parents who stopped me just mentioned, you know, we opened in COVID, and at that time it was, you know, it was a different time, and it was important for me to, you know, I've seen some of the small businesses close around me, and I always wanted to open a business. So it was like, that was a big thing for me to do personally, just a big check mark on my bucket list. And, you know, once I did that, though, it's like the reality sets in. You know, it's still a year after COVID. Some kids are still adjusting, and, you know, one mom had stopped me once and told me, you know, her kid is having some anxiety issues, and you know, just a lot of, you know, things were going on, and I was able to kind of indirectly help him without even having any idea about any of this. It was 2 years later. So it wasn't like the moment, you know, right then and there, but it was like a couple years later, it kind of hit me like, man, you're making a decent impact here. And just keep going. And, you know, it comes with the territory, and I enjoy that part of the business. So.
The content part of the business, this is all new to us over probably the last 4 or 5 years. You become really good at some of that things, and you bring it, you know, you do some videos at home, you do some in the shop. What are some of the things that you try to do in your videos that help people kind of, you know, look into your store, or what makes them a little different?
Yeah, you know, and for a while, I probably wasn't doing it the right way. I was doing it ad lib, organic, just kind of like, all right, here, let's start filming. And now we're trying to button it up a little bit, and you know, it's never going to hurt to reach more people, you know. So it's kind of, for me, like, you know, you probably watch my videos, and be like, he's not very modest. Like, he's on social media doing videos, but like right before the shop, I deleted all my social media. I was like, I'm not interested in this anymore. But getting into the shop and realizing how important it is for my business, I just went for it and started putting stuff out there, learning along the way, learning from the other creators in the space. Just saying, hey, like, I don't want to try and copy anybody, but how can I add my own flavor? And so people see, like, oh, okay, that seems to be the energy at the shop. It's you know, it's laid back, relaxed, but we're competitive. We like to have fun. You know, that's why I did the Fanatics games. Like, I go for it, and I just saw an opportunity. Fanatics games, jumped on it, and next thing you know, I'm in New York, you know, beating Bryce Young and Joe Burrow at NFL skills. And it's, you know, I was like, that's just, I go with the flow. And that's what I love about what I do now, is I'm not, you know, I'm not tied to anything, and I have the autonomy I need. And it's just, it's been great for me personally. It's been the hardest 5 years, let me tell you. There's been countless ups and downs. But I never, on a Sunday, I'm like, man, I just don't want to go in tomorrow. You know, it's like, I've created a nice thing here, and I, knock on wood, you know, we just keep rolling, and, you know, and hopefully people can see that through the videos, you know, what we're all about. And if they want to actually see what we're all about, just come in. Because at the end of the day, if you're near or in the area, and you like what you're seeing, or you don't like what you're seeing, or you're skeptical of what you, come on in and just hang out with us. And you'll see that, you know, whether you're with me or any of our guys, you know, you're going to have a good time, and we're going to take care of you.
Talk a little bit about your decision-making process into what products you decide to stock. Is it part analytics? Is it gut instinct? Are you looking at customer feedback? How do you decide what to stock within your shop?
Yeah, that's a great question. As you guys know, this industry is a little different. You know, if I slang Italian beefs, I would go to my beef supplier every week. I'd, you know, tell them I need 5 pounds. Now it's 10 pounds, or it'd be a lot easier. With the whole allocation system, you not only have to get in with the manufacturers and get a direct account with them, but then there's a whole process once you get in there, and that you have to navigate and figure out. You know, thankfully, right out of the gate, I was able to get a distributor, and that was helpful with the Pokemon and getting a box here or there. But a lot of it was aftermarket buying, buying from walk-ins, using DealerNet, and just trying to piecemeal it by, fulfilling demand for what I'm hearing people want. And unfortunately, sometimes those were the hardest products to get. The things that, I just wasn't able to make any margin on. But I remember the first couple of years just breaking even on a lot of boxes because I didn't want people to come in the shop and just be disappointed with the wax wall. So that was important to me. Thankfully, now there are certain SKUs that are fast movers that we can at least get, an okay margin on. And then there's others that you have to kind of take on still and move. One of the examples I love using, again, I'm not hating on Prism, but K-League Prism is not the fastest mover. They have Color Blast mangas, and I believe they even have like a Genesis parallel. I know that's out of Mosaic usually, but K-League, they try and put all the SPs in it just to help move it. And there are buyers that love this stuff, but it's challenging, right? For it's just a suburb outside of Chicago to push, K-League or Turkish League basketball, but it comes with the territory. That's how you get Mosaic, and that's how you are able to get some other products that are in demand. So, the long answer is like getting creative with the things that are harder to move, making sure I'm properly pricing the things that I know will move quickly, and then everything in between. And every day I'm still learning, and there's still things we're doing, and there's still things that we're taking on that a month later I'm like, hey, I'm gonna have to put a pause on that, right? Like I had to always think about our business and longevity first, and try and be the best partner I can be, though, and take on as much as I can.
So your shop, you says, outside of Chicago. We know we were just there for the National this summer. We're going to be there the next 2 years. What's that vibe in the city when that show is in town?
It's crazy. We're 25 minutes probably from Rosemont, where the National's at, and probably another, probably an hour from Chicago because of traffic. Like if there's no traffic, 20-minute drive, but
Sure.
It's just not how it goes, as you guys know. But the energy's high that week. I'm often getting asked, hey, you got a table there? And it's, no, we don't. We're on a wait list. We'll get there eventually. But our shop is just crazy that week. So, like this National, I went the first couple of days and then I was at the shop, I think Friday through Sunday. It was epic. Like it was just a great 3 days. We had a lot of activity and we needed someone there. So at the end of the day, all my employees, because they're such card people, like no one called in or no one wanted to work that week. So, but it comes with the territory. So.
Well, Mark, we really appreciate you joining us tonight. We just have about a minute left. Let everybody know kind of your vision for the next 3 to 5 years, and then where they can find you exactly, both on social and in the real world.
Definitely. Well, Jeremy, Steve, thank you for having me on first and foremost. Appreciate you guys. Yeah, man, the next 3 to 5 years is going to be quite the ride. Obviously, the licenses are shifting over to Topps Fanatics. We're all curious how Panini is going to manage their new product lines and what they're going to do and everything that's going to come with that. And then I just think the activity and the energy is just unbelievable right now. Like it very much reminds me of when we first opened, but there was a correction of sorts, right? So we're not selling $800 boxes of XYZ, and I think that's great for everybody. Now there's still plenty of arguments about box pricing and card pricing and base cards and their rarity, and those are all things like we're talking about every day in the shop. So I would say keep following along, come visit our shop. If you think, you've seen something so far from us, then just wait for what's to come, because we're just getting started at Mark's Card Shop. And, I really appreciate anyone who's been in the shop or supported us in the past. I'm going to keep it rolling for you guys. I appreciate you.
What's the address of the shop where people can find you?
Yeah, I should say that. Thank you. It's 914 Curtis Street. That's Downers Grove, Illinois. It's about 3 blocks from the main drag in downtown Downers Grove, population 50,000, a wonderful place to come visit. And I'm Mark's Card Shop, all one word, on Instagram and TikTok. And we have our website, markscardshop.com.
Hey, listen, fantastic. When we get to Chicago again, I'm going to try to come check that out.
I would love that.
We'll see you there soon. So yeah,
you gotta let me know. Yeah, please let me know, Steve. I'd love to have you guys into the shop and check it out. And I hope to meet you guys in person soon.
Cool. Mark, thank you for joining us.
Sounds good.
Appreciate you guys. Take care now.
Mark.
Thank you. Appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah.
Our pleasure. Yeah, Greeny, fast show tonight. Again, as always, we want to thank Mark Mark's Card Shop, Frank DeMont from Cardfest Promotions, Joe Wismirski from Phoenix Card Shop and Cut the Nonsense. You can see him tomorrow night at 8 p.m. on the Sports Cards Nonsense Network. Thanks to Haley on the board. Thanks to thanks to you, Greeny. Thanks to everybody for tuning in. Make sure you continue to like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. And Greeny, may the cards forever be in your favor.
Tonight is Tuesday. Normally Alex is on eBay Live. We're going to have him on tomorrow. So he'll be on Wednesday and Thursday this week on eBay Live, Greeny Sports Cards. And we can't wait to show you what he's got in store for you. And again, Jeremy, thanks again. Great week. SportCardAuctions.com. We appreciate their support. Have a good night, everybody.